Alright, I'm going to show you guys real quick how to do this plate on Solidworks. So we're going to start, we can look at it and figure out how we're going to start. We're going to draw this rectangle, the face. We want to make sure this is the assembly. So we want the face to be looking out this way as it lays, just to make things easier from the beginning. So we can pick what plane we're going to draw on. We're going to have this bottom part 580, that's 25.2, so this is most likely metric, saying that this is a 1-inch diameter circle. You've got these spaced 120 millimeters apart 4 times, 50 millimeters from the center of circle to the beginning, 20 millimeters off the bottom. The part is 16 millimeters thick and 80 millimeters tall. So we can take all that and bring it into here. So now we got our Solidworks open. And from the beginning we said we wanted to sketch so it's facing out this way already. And then we're going to start with our simple shape. So we're going to click onto that bottom corner so it's constrained, drag it out to whatever size you want. So we're going to smart dimension this at 580 and 80 millimeters. So we're going to see at the bottom right here is our units. So we're currently in inch pound second. We want to go to millimeter gram second. So we're going to change to millimeters. Going to smart dimension this. Bring that up. It's going to be 580. Oh, you know what? Let's start over since we changed. You should start by changing your units. Let's X out of this and start over real quick. So you start, let's go down here, change our units. Then we're going to pick our front plane that we want to draw on. And we're going to start on that origin, so it's constrained. We're going to smart dimension right here. Right? So we're going to put in 580 by 80. Right, so there's our beginning. And then in here, another thing you can do is you've got your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Doesn't matter where they are, doesn't matter what size they are, because we're going to come back. Now see, there's a diameter of 25.2. So come back into our smart drawing, 25.2. Just going to, it might not work, 25.2. 25.2. 25.2. And just keep going. Well, I'm sure there's a better way to do this, but I'm still figuring some of this out. I'm a Fusion native. So what we're going to do from here is grab the center points. You're going to hold down Shift and click each center point right here. And you're going to make those horizontally constrained, right? So now all of these center points are on the same horizontal line. Now, we've got these floating around, and if it's blue, it's not constrained. So we have to constrain these. They have their sizes, but we still need to do something. We still need to put those 50 from there, 120 from each body. So let's start with that. We'll put them 120 from each other, 120 millimeters. From here to here, 120. From here to here, 120. And again, just keep going through until you get all of these. So now these are all 120 millimeters apart from each other. Now we also need them 20 millimeters from the bottom. So because these are all constrained, you can just grab one and type in 20. So that's going to force all of those 20 millimeters from the bottom. Now we need the 50 millimeters from the side. So from center point to that side, we're going to be at 50 millimeters. And then our last step, all these are black lines, so everything's constrained. And this is going to come out 16 millimeters. So we're going to go over to our features. We're going to extrude. We have our selected face. And this is our distance right here. So we're going to change our distance to 16 units, which is millimeters. It's going to come out. We're going to hit check. And if you see, these holes are not coming with it. I could go back in and select those holes, but you can see by the picture that this is what our pins are going to go through to hold the wheels onto the caster. We're going to go back here and hit check, right? Now we've got our first part. We're going to file, save as, and we can name this part 1 for wheel pins. And then I'm going to put ×2 because we're going to need a left and right side. So we'll mirror that in the assembly process. All right, the next part we're going to have a look at is this plate. Looks fairly simple. We're going to draw it from the top plane down, and we're going to have, let's see, so we have our main rectangular plate. We'll go in from the side and cut out these 2 notches. That's going to accept the other plates that are going to recess into there. And then we're going to put some holes in there, do the same thing we did, and countersink these. So we can start off the same way, but we're going to go from the top plane. I'm going to grab this rectangle and stretch it out to whatever size we want. Right, and then we can do the same thing. I'm assuming there's 5 holes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on each side. And just in case I need this for later, I'm not sure yet, I'm going to put this down the middle and then hit construction geometry, switch that to, oops, sorry, highlighted the wrong thing. I'm going to click this center line, switch it to construction geometry. So now we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you know the drill with this. Oops. Click these center points. 2, 3, 4, 5. Horizontally constrain those. We're going to go through in Smart Dimension. Now what I do try and do with Smart Dimension is do the biggest side first. Ooh. Now let's see, we're in inches again. So let's get out of here. Switch. All right, now let's see if I can get back into that sketch. Edit sketch. Okay. Double click this and we're going to go to 580. Right? All these holes, let's check the diameter of that. 11 millimeter holes, and then we'll go back and do this. So 11 millimeter diameter. All right, give me 1 second. We'll figure this out. Let's make these 11. Okay. 11 millimeter, you see diameter sign. We'll extrude those all the way through. These need to be 25 millimeters off the side. I already forgot where that was. From center point to here, they are 25, 2, 5. Now, why does that not look right? Okay, because these all have to be spaced 132.5 away from each other. So we don't have that yet. So we need to go center point to center point, 132.5 for each. And then I guess what I can do from here to here is 184. So from the center of the circle to here is 184 divided by 2. So you can do the same thing in here. Go from there. And it's 184, right? 184 divided by 2. And you're going to get your distance. Now, I saw this whole side shift up, and I still have a blue line, so that's also telling me that my sides aren't constrained to 284 millimeters right here. So I take this side, yeah, see 281, I need to go to 284. So now I have my side, and I can start extruding this block. So we're going to go to Features, Extrude, and we're going to do the whole thing. So that's 40 millimeters. So we're going to take that whole chunk up, 40, and hit Enter. Oh, you know what else we forgot to do? We can Control-Z out of that, and we can mirror entities. So pick all these holes down here. And we can mirror about, right, this line. So now we have these here. That's what I forgot to do. So we're going to hit check, and now we're back to what we need to do. So now we're going to go to Features and Extrude. Extrude this up 40. Oh, now let me go back and check my open contours real quick. Oh no, it went through. I think it's because I hit Control-Z. I think it's because I mirrored and then went back and undid it and went through. Anyway. But if you have troubles, you can just leave a comment and I'll try and get back to you. So we're gonna go, and we see this sketch down here. I kind of want to not see that right now. Okay, it's gone. So let's see what's next. We have these slots that are 10 millimeters. This is 138. So the distance from here to here is going to be 138 divided by 2. So we can just draw a rectangle on this face right here. That's what we're going to do, actually. We're going to grab a sketch onto that face. And we're going to stretch that out. And we'll mirror again. We'll take a line here and find our center point right there. And click. Click it again and go construction geometry, right? Now what we're going to do is we know we've got 10 millimeters right here and 138 divided by 2 from that corner to that corner. So we can start in here, dimension from here to here, and do 138 divided by 2. And then your other 10 millimeters is going to be from here to here, 10 millimeters. And we are just going to do the same thing where we mirror this geometry about. So click about this construction line and hit check. We'll go back and we will extrude cut from, let's see, through all, right? And then accept. So now we've got our plate that those recessed pieces are going to go into, but we still need to perform our countersinks on the top to let those screw heads fit flush into the body. So we're going to do that next. Okay, so what I think we can do from here is all these are chamfered at 45 degrees. Doesn't say how far down it goes, but I think that's going to automatically come in. So I clicked chamfer, which is to get in there. I'll show you. You go to the drop-down menu on fillet and click chamfer. And then I'm going to select all of my lines outside the circle that I need to chamfer. And now I'm going to go down here. It says 45 degrees. Okay, it looks like that worked. So now you have your top plate. You do the same thing, File, Save As, and then we're going to go top plate or caster assembly. All right, the next part I'm going to do is this side piece. Show you in the assembly. Side piece is going to run between the top plate and hold this side plate for the caster. So we already know that's going to be just about the same thickness as this. And we're going to put those in those recesses of each. So we're going to build this piece and then we're going to build the caster. So let's see how it starts out. And we're going to draw this face right here, extend it all the way, and then put holes in the top. So that face, we're going to zoom in a bit over here. Got 60 millimeters, we've got 28 millimeters, and then we've got this channel that we can kind of break down. So let's start by sketching on the right plane, because it's going to be going down the side, a rectangle. We'll constrain that, and then we're going to have some funky stuff going on here. Let's see, 60 and 28. So let's go back here. We'll do 60. This guy right here is 28. Now we've got a 45-degree cut across the corner that's 10 millimeters across here. So we're going to cut our corner, and what I'm actually going to do, sometimes my parts don't connect, so I'm going to make that really long and then hit trim and just power trim these away so I know it's touching those. And then I'm going to dimension from here to here is going to be 10 millimeters. And then this angle right here is going to be 45. So we'll lock that in. That's constrained. What we can do now is trim these corners off. We don't need those. So, and then go back just so this is constrained. From here to here is 10 millimeters. That'll reconstrain that dimension because that's what we lost when we deleted it. We've got that cut. Now we're going to move over to here. We've got 15 millimeters from the edge. We have a 16 millimeter cut that's 8 millimeters deep. So we're going to draw our little rectangle and then dimension it off that. So I'm going to go in here and draw my rectangle. Now I got to make sure that's on the top side, that's on the top side, the chamfer and the cut right there. So this is 15 millimeters, 16 millimeters. All right, so I'm going to go in here, smart dimension. From that to that is 15. From this wall to this wall is 16. And what was our last dimension in here is 8 millimeters deep. So from here to here, you're going to have 8 millimeters deep. So now we've got the rough outline for our sides. We can actually even come in here and trim this, but these sides are not constrained. What's not constrained? This isn't constrained from here to here, which we said, okay, because we lost that when we trimmed that corner. So that's 60. So now we're all constrained. We're going to go back in and trim that. It's going to stay constrained because we didn't trim, or we didn't constrain this line. We constrained that and that. We'll hit check on this. We're going to go to features, extrude, and now we've got to put in our value for this, which is going to be, what, 580, like it has been, right? So, ooh, now we're going to have some difficulties because this whole thing was done in inches. So I'm going to go redo this and come back. Okay, I'm back. I remade this in millimeters, apologies. And we're going to features, extrude where we left off. And this is going to go through 580 millimeters, right? And I'm just going to do it the other way. Now this part is upside down, but we'll fix that when we get to the assembly. So there's our part, and then we're going to have to put some holes in it on the top. So we'll pick our top face and sketch on there some holes. So we've got M10 by 1.25. So they're 10 millimeter holes, I'm guessing. And then we're going to see that they're 132.5 apart, 4 times, 1, 2, 3, 4, 23 off. So we're just going to go through and do the same thing. I'm going to draw our circles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 circles. We're going to smart dimension each one to 10 millimeters, 10 millimeters. Keep her going. 10 millimeters. All right. Now that we've got all those 10 millimeters, we're going to do what we always do and put all of these on same horizontal line. Got 5 of those horizontally constrained. Those are from the flat back. They're 23 millimeters, right? That's important. We're going to see, I've got it towards the front. So we're going to dimension from this line back here to the center, 23. 23 from the back to the center. Go in here and put 23. Now it looks like they're all lined up in that channel. And what other dimensions do we need? 25 millimeters off the end. Oh, and they're not spaced correctly. So we're going to go from here to here. It's going to be 25 millimeters off that edge. Then I'm going to snap back onto my face over here and space these out appropriately, which are 120, 132.5. So we'll go in here, 132.5, here to here, 132.5. Oops. Now see, I grabbed the edge of that. I want to be careful to hit the center points because that's what I'm measuring from. 132.5. 132.5. All right, so now we got all of our pieces, right? Our holes that are going to go in here. We're going to accept that. So we're good with our holes. And we are going to extrude cut all of these holes. Is unique. That must be the arrow. Yeah. Through all. So we're on the same thing. Now we've got this other part. And we will do file save. Save as. We'll call this middle connector. I think caster is OR. Am I losing it over here? This caster assembly? Roller assembly caster? I looked it up. Caster is spelled correctly. Okay. So, zoom out a tad. What other parts do we need? This wheel. So we'll go into here. We've saved this, right? Let's make sure. Top plate, middle connection for caster, wheel pins. Now we're going to go through and make the last part, which is the wheel. File new, part. Let's take a look at this wheel. So the wheel is 200 millimeters wide, 100 millimeters tall. We can cut this section out and this section out, or we could revolve it, but let's see how we're going to attack this. Okay, I think I'm going to draw half of the caster and revolve it. So I'm going to try that, possibly. All right, we're going to bounce back and forth a lot to this one. This is probably going to be the harder side. Where do we want to draw it? It's going to be going this way, this way. So if we want to sketch, I guess we could do it on the right plane, and I would make something like this. Maybe. So we'll take that and make it vertical. That's vertical. That's at an angle. Let's go back up to our drawing. Now I only want to draw half, I guess, and I'll mirror and then revolve. So half of 200. Oh, see, made a mistake again. Millimeters. I need to set that natively. Right plane, we'll start over real quick so we can catch up to where we were. There we go. We'll make that vertical. Smart to mention this. At half of that 200, that's 100. We'll go. We're not going to make that hole yet. We're going to drill it at the end after we make the wheel. So what we're going to do is make this is going to be 16.5, right? 25 divided by 2 is what this is going to be. 25 divided by 2, that's the diameter of that hole right there. So I found this, divided that by 2. So now I've got this. The angle needs to be set. So let's see. From that line to that line. So from, let's see, the flat top to there. Man, that's is 85 out that way. Do 85. Okay. And now what do we need? The distance from here to here. So that's 100 divided by 2, so that's going to be 50. close already, 50, right? Okay, right? So now we've got half, well, a quarter of the wheel. Take this, and we are going to mirror entities. We're going to drop that line and mirror about that line and check, right? So now, get rid of that. We're going to not get rid of that. We're going to convert it, right, to construction geometry. And now we're going to find out where the revolve tool is. Revolve. Ooh, I'm revolving around the wrong point. Axis of revolution is not going to be there. This will be the axis of revolution. So you select your faces, and then you have your axis of revolution, which is this down the middle. We're going to hit OK. So now we've got the caster wheel. And if we're going to look head on, we'll see that it's tapered off, like the drawing tells us, right? And then we're going to look at some small other things. Now we have a 45-degree chamfer, what looks like here, here, here maybe? 3 times 45. We'll see where that third one comes from. But this angle is chamfered. That and that are chamfered 45 degrees. All right, and 3 millimeters. So now you have your little chamfer right there, your banked angle, and your hole caster. Now we're going to put a hole in one of these sides. We're going to drill a hole in one of these sides, and we'll mirror that hole. So let's find out where that one went. So we're going to start by sketching on a face. I actually want to start on this face because that's what I've been drawing on to keep things organized. And what's it say our hole is going to be? This is how to, I don't know how to drill a hole. Let's see. M10. So we're going to go back to a 10 millimeter. We are going to do a few things first. Okay, so that's on the center. Smart dimension. 10 millimeters, right? Okay, so I think I figured it out. We're going to exit out of that sketch, and we're going to go to Hole Wizard. We're going to drill a hole. I don't know why that whole face is selected. Advanced. I think I need to select my sketch. Alright, give me 1 second. Okay, I think I figured it out. So, what I did was clicked on my sketch, and I hit Hole Wizard. Then I went to this drill hole, clicked that, and I switched. I was on inch, went to metric, and then made my size 10 because it says that's an M10 hole. And then after you pick all of this, right, you're going to now see end condition through all. I don't think I want it through all. I think I want it blind. Oops, end condition blind. And does it say how deep that drill is? 59 millimeters. So if I do that 59 millimeters, go to positions and click that. Yep. Now it's going through. All right. So now I have my hole. So now I just need to mirror this, and I'm going to steal the axis from drawing 1 unless I can use the origin. But what I will do is, let's find the mirror. This time we're actually going to mirror that hole we just cut. So I want to mirror this feature if I can. Options, geometry, mirror face plane, features to mirror. Okay, so I have my feature selected, and now I need to pick a face or a plane. So I'm going to check and see if I can use the front plane, right? I'm going to mirror it about that and hit check. Now we have our caster wheel, right? We're going to File, Save As. We're going to do caster wheel. We'll save that right there. Now that we've got all of our parts that we need for the assembly, we're going to put this together. So we're going to open an assembly. We're going to select all of our parts, and we're going to put those through here. Got that plate, got our top plate. And I should have used Hole Wizard for this countersink up here, but just for now we're going to leave it. We've got a few things. I like to spin these first to get those right. So let's do that. So we're going to rotate this component. If you imagine this Z right here, that pin is going all the way through, you would rotate it that way, right? So we need the pin on the X-axis to stick through here, so we're going to rotate it on X, right? So we have rotate. We're going to put from rotate to by delta. Again, we're going to rotate on the X-axis, so we're going to rotate that 90 degrees on the X-axis, right? I actually needed 180, so let's rotate it 90 again, and we're there. That's good. Now we're going to put the component somewhere we can see it. Okay, and then one thing we can do is we can pull this over here. Let's start on this plate, right? So let's take this plate and see if we can fix it. That's fixed in place. So now, no moving that plate, but you can go, let's see, the caster wheel is also fixed. So we're going to float that. So we're going to fix it on that. Let's start with aligning these faces. So we're going to mate this face right here to that face right there. All right, so now those are mated, but you have to mate a few other things to make sure they line up, right? So we're going to check that, that's mated. We're going to mate this face with that face, slide it up, and then it probably would have, if you're really doing an assembly, what you're really going to want to do is mate these from the holes, I would assume. See how it might be just a hair to the side. So let's go back, and what we will do, so this face is mated, so they're flush up against each other. Now we'll see a few things too. We've got some clipping over here, so we need to do that face to make sure those are aligned. We'll check that off, and now is when I'm going to go in, and I would rather mate from hole to hole. And now those are slid up and they should fit. Now there might be a little bit of overhang there, but these dimensions are rough dimensions for just like a practice piece. But now let's go and put that bottom piece on there. So now we can take this. Sorry, my zooming action isn't great, but we'll mate, let's see, this face with this face, right? Clipping through each other again. We're going to select that, mate. We'll do this face with this face, but it's too high. I guess what we could do is just use move to bring it back down, move component. You can also see where it's not constrained. See, it's only moving in one direction. So this is the only area it's not constrained in. You can do the same with lines in a drawing, but we'll mate that component up into its little channel it's got here, and we'll hit continue. All right, so now we've got this part of the assembly, and we can actually also mate this wheel up there. So let's start and make it flush and do that side of the hub to this face. And now we're going to go hole to hole again. So we're going to go mate the whole of that to there, and we'll hit OK. All right, so now it's centered up. Okay, one thing I also caught is I'm back in IPS, and this is a millimeter drawing, which I don't normally do. So let's switch that back to millimeters. So we're in here. And now we're going to, I think what I would do is insert mirror components. I need a reference geometry. So I might sketch first on this face give me your center point, some reference geometry to mirror from. All right, so now I've got that line in there. So now insert mirror components. Mirror plane is what it's asking. Oh, it needs a plane. How am I going to make a plane there? All right, I'm continuing the easy way. I'm just going to insert these components to not make it difficult. So I've got extra caster wheels, and I'm just going to align those same way we did with the others. So I'm going to mate each one to its hole from there to there. Let's go through. Keep forgetting to hit check twice. Mate. We actually need one more wheel in here too. So mate, you're going to get a lot of practice on this one. That to that. Check twice on that one, got it. Mate from here to here. All right, check that off. We need one more. So I'm going to go back into, where was I going? Insert components. We're going to need another caster wheel, another middle connection. But if you hold down shift, you can click all three. So if you click this first one, then hold down shift, it'll just go up to what you clicked. All right, so I need one more caster wheel. I need one more channel piece. And I need one more side. All right, so, oh, it looks like I did have my last caster wheel in there. So let me delete that body, that one caster wheel, and go back through the assembly and just finish mating these up real quick. So we'll mate this side to here. We will hit check once, hit check twice, mate the hole to there. Check once, check twice. And then we're going to have to go back and flip this component over again. So rotate this component. And remember, we're going to want to change this to bi delta and flip it along that x-axis, right? So imagine this pin is going through the part. You want to flip it around that pin. That's going to be the axis it spins around. So this is the x-axis. We're going to want it 180 this time, not 90 degrees twice. Oh, did I select my part? Move. I don't know if I have my part selected. rotate. Again, not the component. Maybe select the component, then rotate, then by delta, do X 180. There we go. So it's flipped, but it's way over here. So we will, oh, we got one more spin we've got to do on this thing. So if we look at that component again, let's select the component, move, rotate. Now we want to pin coming down from the Y. So we want to spin it 180 on the Y so that chamfer is facing out. By delta, Y axis, 180 degrees. It's going to go somewhere over here. And now we've got it the direction we want it. So we're going to mate these sides again. Let's do this face. And this face. Came a lot closer. And then we're going to do the holes, remember. Right? Because that's more important to align than the edges. Because the bolts are actually going to go through there. And you don't want them clipping some edges. So you're going to go that hole to that hole. Now it should be in place. Okay, now we have one more alignment you can see is off, right? I can move it up and down here. So now I need to mate from here into there. We have that piece. Few more to go, right? Mate this front face to there. It's a little too high, but we can always move it. Move component, we're going to grab you. Pull you down a little bit. Okay, so that needs constrained on a few places. And the casters might actually go in a little bit further now that I'm looking. So let's look at, you can see those casters probably go into there. So what we will do is finish mating this plate. That's already constrained, so we're gonna not do that face. Mate this face to this face, right? Continue, continue. We're going to move component, drag that down so we can see the face. Mate, oops, that face into that little channel up there. Oops. Mate that face into the channel. Continue, continue. Okay, so I did not align these wheels correctly. What I think I'm going to have to do is mate this face to this face. Now let's see if that gives me some type of fault. How can I unmate things? Okay, so I found out you have to go into your design tree down here and get rid of those mates. So I'm going to test it on one. Test it on, that's not it, that one. So let's delete that mate and see if now we can click that and that to mate. Nope. Okay, I think I got it now. So, I was deleting the wrong mates. I don't need to delete this concentric mate. I need whatever put that piece. Okay, so I can go back and forth like that. So the hole's concentric. Now we're good. Then that one's fine. This component can move where? Okay, so that one has the concentric hole that I deleted, but I need that. But whatever, I can honestly go through. So I'll show you. You can click here and see what these pieces are. So that's concentric. That's what I need to delete. So I'm deleting the relationship between that orange face and the purple face. That's what I need because I need it to go further into this hole. So I need to go in here and delete that relationship. When I do that, the holes remain concentric, but now I'm going in here. So I can place that, and you can even see maybe still a little too far in that hole. So is it flush? Just about, yeah. So those are probably flush against there. Now we're going to go through and delete the rest of those relationships and re-snap them. And I'm going to try and move these every time I delete that relationship. So that's a relationship between that one and that one. So I do need to delete this. And I have to make that hole concentric again. This one, where's your relationship between the wall, is right here. Okay. So now we're going to move him out of the way. So he's still got concentricity, right? So let's go back through. First, this guy's got no concentricity. So we're going to mate and redo that one. Now he's solid, right? And then we're just going to go through and remate these faces, this face to here. And before we do the rest of them, let's look and see if it checks out. It does. So we'll go through and do the rest, right? Double check. Mate, face, face. Check, check. And then keep chugging through this one to here. Check once, check twice. Mate from here to here. Check once, check twice. Now we're going to go to over here, mate. From there to here. You go here and check your isometric, and you now have your finished caster wheel. So we have our last step, which is going to be the easiest, which is going to be File, Save As. So I'm going to save this into my roller assembly folder. It's going to save as a solid assembly. So I'm going to put, I hit cap locks, roller assembly finished 1. Save that. So that's my part, and then I'm going to file. Let's see if I can save as an export. Okay, so this is the other one I want to do is file pack and go, right? So we're going to have all this, and that's going to show our components, so we'll hit save. Okay, so the file's in use by Solidworks. Sorry, when you file save as pack and go, save as a zip file. And then you can see I put this straight to my roller assemblies folder. Roll assembly, select folder. Pack and go save as a zip file. And then we're going to hit save. No, this is my fault. So now you should be able to X out of this. You've got your zip file right here. my assembly right here. So if I open this back up, I'm going to pause it because it's going to ask my login info, right? So I just put my login info in there, and we have our part. So with this, our teacher can go through we will submit our pack and go file, and you can actually go through and check the history of all these items too inside this assembly. And that's it. Thank you.